When we think as instructors about our long-term goals for you, and we think about what we would like for you to be 3, 4, 5 years out in the future, we don't very often say, well, we sure hope they remember the definition of a saturated solution. We think we would love them to become better problem solvers. So this is one of the big overarching themes that we have in chemistry. So we're going to talk a little bit about why we want you to become a problem solver and why we want you to want that, and then how to become a problem solver. So first of all, what is a problem solver? So a problem solver is someone who faces a new situation, a new problem, and uses his or her own knowledge, her own mental tools to think through and work towards a solution. Now, at first, these problems that you're going to face are problems that you can feel pretty confident that somebody else has solved, but you haven't solved them before, and they're new challenges for you, and so you can know that we're trying to give you those tools. But in the future, as you become a real problem solver of the future, you might have to go out and seek new knowledge before you can ever solve this problem. So you're kind of building that up and then using it for whatever problem you have. And you may not even be convinced that there is a solution, but you're certainly working towards that. We've got you in the world now that, yeah, we're going to give you problems that do have solutions. So what else is a problem solver? A problem solver is someone who tries to solve problems by thinking, okay? You have to engage the brain. It's not about seeing what somebody else did and mimicking it, and that's what a lot of people think a problem solver, you know, when they're given a problem set, I want to see what somebody else did and I want to do that. That's not a problem solver, that is a mimicker. So that's what a problem solver isn't. I see a lot of students who come into freshman chemistry class and they've never really had to become a problem solver. When they were in chemistry, they were given definitions, they were shown how to do something, then they were given several problems, which weren't really problems, they were exercises that they did over and over and over again, sort of like shooting a hoop, shooting a hoop, shooting a hoop. You're practicing that skill, and then they were giving a test to see did they have that skill. That isn't a problem solver. And on our exams, we very rarely would give you a true problem. We're giving you things that you have practiced through. But when you face problems, they aren't about doing what somebody else did. They're about you thinking through, using your own skill set to get to there. Okay, so that's what I will call a problem solver. You're going to think about that in your group and say, you know, what other things could we add to that? The next thing I want to discuss is why I want you to become a problem solver and why you should want to become a problem solver. The fact of the matter is you're not going to advance the understanding of, and we can fill in this blank with so many different things, you are not going to advance the understanding of science, math, technology, medicine, just fill in the blanks without being a problem solver. Advancers in these areas are people who see a challenge, see a problem, think about, use what they know, and come up with solutions for those. You yourself are not going to become mentally mature if you can't become a problem solver. You're going to be stunted here. So we try to develop physically, we try to develop maybe spiritually and mentally as well. So this building the mental understanding of how to solve a problem, that's a deeper understanding, a deeper mental activity. And the next thing is you're not going to be of value to, and we again can fill in this blank with so many things, your future employer. Your patients, if you are a physician or work in the healthcare field, your small business, if you start one, you're just not going to value that thing unless you can take a true problem, think through, and solve it. So how do you become one? First of all, you have to realize that it's developed. It is not like this person is a problem solver, but I'm not. This person can solve problems, that person can't. It is always a developed skill. Just like so many things. You have to develop it. So if you're not there yet, okay, it's a yet. We will get there. You have to want to get there, okay? Because it takes work. So there's got to be this internal drive that I want to become someone who can solve this problem. I'm faced with this challenge. I want to solve that challenge. So there has to be an internal motivation for it. There also has to be a belief that you can develop it. Once you want to, you have to understand that, you know, you're here because the university thought you were qualified to be a student. But we don't want to leave you here, we want to push you here. So you have to believe that you can do this development after you want to. and you have to spend time on it. I see students who sit down to work their sapling, and their main goal is to get done. I want to get done so I can do this. I want to get done because I have to do this. I just want to get a grade because my grade is important to me. You're not going to develop abilities to solve problems if you don't face your homework with, I have got to spend time to actually think. I have got to spend time to see if I can come up with a solution. You live in a world where Google is at your fingertips. You could probably take any problem that we give to you, anything, and Google it and find somebody who's worked it. And then you say, okay, that's how you work that, fine, I'll work it, and you do it. That doesn't take time. You can come up with a solution and answer the question in a couple minutes. But if you want to really be a problem solver, you have to spend time, invest in that time, and keep the Google away. I'll give you my story about time spent on a problem as I developed problem-solving capability. I had an advanced calculus class as a student, and the first problem that the professor gave to us, I went off home, worked on this problem. I spent hours on this one problem, and I never got to the solution. So we were instructed to turn in whatever we came up with. 2 people in this class of probably 15, 2 people had a solution, but the instructor could look at that solution and it was a textbook solution. It was obvious that the student found this theorem in a textbook and wrote it out and turned that in. And he's like, that's not what I'm looking for. The rest of you tried. The rest of you go off and see what you can do with this problem. So when I finally got it, and when that light bulb came on, and when the solution became evident to me, I had spent 20 hours on this one problem. From that moment on, I believed I could do it. I had a want to, I had a belief, and I was developing that skill to where I could work through the problems that the instructor gave to me. You'll never have to spend 20 hours on a problem in this class, I promise, okay? But you've got to expand your ability to go past 2 minutes. And that seems like I'm being ridiculous, but most people feel like if they've spent 2 minutes thinking about it and they haven't gotten there, that they need to Google it, or they need to look in the book and find whatever, an example like it. You've got to realize we've given you the skills, look at the skills that you've got, and try things. Just see where you go with it. And if it's a dead end, whoop-de-doo, try again. So there has to be a big perseverance on your part. You've got to develop it, you've got to want to develop, you've got to spend time at it, and you've got to persevere through those challenges. And the big thing that I wish I could give to you is the desire to want to have that, instead of just wanting to get done with the assignment and get a good grade on the assignment. If you develop ability to work problems and really think through problems, all that time is going to pay off in a much better grade than just getting a good grade on this one assignment. You're going to be able to think through the exams, and you're going to be able to show us what you know so much better if you've spent time problem solving. Okay, so we've got the what it is, the why, the how, and now you're going to spend some time thinking and discussing this. I want you all to think about other ideas you might have about what a problem solver looks like, why it would be beneficial in your realm to become a problem solver. What's your future goals? Why would being a problem solver work for you? And how are you going to get there? I want you to think about what hinders you from being it. Is it time? Is it a want to? What is it that's hindering you? And think about a step, one step you could take to change something that you're doing so that you can start getting there. We want you to start developing this skill starting now. And I hope that the discussion makes a difference for you.